Welcome to the Birac IT podcast. This week we're going to talk about GDPR and IT security. Before we continue, we wish to keep this under 10 minutes to give you the information you need to proceed further. There are a number of changes coming for all companies in the EU, including companies outside the EU if you're trading with an EU company. From May 2018. We have a process to make GDPR work for your business. Before we go into GDPR in more detail, we want to go over another law from 20 years ago called the Data Protection Act of 1998 that affects us all. In this law, you must make sure information is used fairly and lawfully, used for limited, specifically stated purposes, used in a way that is adequate, relevant and not excessive, is accurate, is kept for no longer than absolutely necessary, is handled according to people's data protection rights, is kept safe and secure, and is not transferred outside the European Economic Area without adequate protection. We also provide a link to data protection in the description below. If you already have knowledge of the Data Protection Act, then this will give you a step towards preparing for GDPR. We'll go over GDPR and IT security in the next 7 points. Point 1. What does GDPR stand for? GDPR stands for General Data Protection Regulation. This regulation is intended to strengthen and unify data protection for all individuals within the EU. Point 2. How do I remove my personal details? If you know the company has your personal details, i.e. telephone number, email, address, date of birth, and so on, then you should request to speak to the Data Protection Officer or the Data Controller. In the company, the title may vary. As with the Data Protection Act and the 8 points we discussed earlier, you're entitled to inquire about your data without a company request that this is a chargeable service. You can request that your personal details are to be removed. The company could refuse to delete this information depending on the requirement of the information they hold. For example, a solicitor may be in the middle of a court case with your information, and expecting them to meet your requirement immediately may not be possible, but they could state when they can proceed further with your request. Point 3. You are asked to remove someone's personal details. Let's say you are not the customer and instead you are the employee of the business. When you have spoken to the data controller and asked them about your request, the steps that the data controller will go through will be documented with their internal process. The steps that the data controller will go through will be documented with their internal process to fulfill the individual's request and remove the information without causing damage to internal systems. If you do not have a process, we can help your business and ensure the IT system requirements meet the regulation. If you don't have a process and you start deleting records from your IT systems, you may find that specific software alerts about missing information. For this information, making sure the information you remove is coordinated with an IT consultant is advised. You may also need to inform the individual who made the request that you are working through the removal of their details and also when this information will be removed completely. Point 4. How does IT security take part? Your business has to ensure that the data is kept in a secure location, whether that's on a computer, server, or online systems. If your company has laptop computers and one is left on a train and left behind by a team member, you don't want thousands of personal records being available on there. With both online and offline systems, it is vital that passwords to your business are secure and different across each system. If you require further help with this, please speak to our team using the information in the description. Point 5. Backups. Part of the requirement with the regulation is that individual details are removed. In the legal sector, in the UK for example, emails are kept for a number of years. Businesses have to keep their accounts for a number of years. With this in mind, it is not advised that we go and delete all this information today. There is a way we could meet both requirements. Point 6. Breach! Breach! Hopefully, you have a procedure in place in case you're a victim of data loss. If personal details are lost, you will need to work through your company procedure. There are a number of data breaches that have happened in the last 5 to 10 years, but we want to give you a couple. In 2013, Yahoo initially had a data breach of 500 million, that's 500 million user accounts. 4 years later, Verizon announced this is actually 3 billion, so 6 times the amount. That's equivalent to half the world's population. In the UK, a great example from 2011 is from 132 councils reporting data breaches of individuals and even children with laptops, USBs, paperwork, whether they were left on a train or lost or misplaced. All useful scenarios for us to learn from so that we can avoid them in our business. We would advise you to have a look at these links so you can learn from other people's mistakes so they don't happen to you. Point 7. Recap. We wish to sum up the points from this podcast. GDPR is a new EU regulation to strengthen our rights to remove our personal details. GDPR is enforced on the 25th of May 2018. If you need any help getting your IT systems or processes ready, please contact us using the links below. If you would like to find more information on how to safeguard your data or some best practices, please contact the team using the links in the description. Click on subscribe to find out future videos from our team. Thanks for watching and have a great day.